Cinderella would see her wicked three sisters walk through her basement prison in outfits that looked exactly like bad variations of the outfits she had photographed herself in and posted online. The sisters had to walk past Cinderiliana many times through the basement to get to their expensive cars and their waiting limos when going to various super glamorous balls and social events with celebrities that they got to attend with the older gentlemen, while Cinderiliana had to stay in her basement and make the best of what she had. They would ignore Cinderiliana as they walked past her in the basement and pretend she wasn't even there. But ironically, they knew she was there because they were watching her every move and copying her every outfit and hairstyle. In fact, they even copied her body. If she lost weight, they lost weight. If she gained weight, they would gain weight. It was odd. You see, Cinderiliana had a natural beauty, inner strength, an exquisite mind and charm and inner glow about her that none of the wicked sisters had. And in fact, it stirred such feelings in the older gentleman of wild attraction to her that he felt powerless in her presence. Hence, he felt the need to imprison her and hide her away for the fear of someday losing control and falling for her. This man was petrified of love and of feeling powerless over anything, let alone a woman. At first, Cinderiliana wasn't sure if she was imagining or exaggerating that the wicked sisters were attempting to copy her physical attributes, live out her dreams and aspirations, and mimic her gestures, etc. In fact, one of them acquired repeated plastic surgery to the point where she no longer looked like herself, but rather a wax-like version of Cinderiliana. Oddly enough, this was the older gentleman's favorite mistress. In fact, he had her live in his room so he could wake up to her image every day. Poor Cinderiliana saw this and thought she was imagining it and going crazy, until the copying and attempts to steal Cinderiliana's ideas and replicate them became so obvious to her there was no denying. So she finally began exposing the truth via videos and comments on her various internet sites, like Facebook, YouTube, MySpace. This scared the three wicked sisters, and they moved out. They scrambled to attempt to cover their evil behavior. However, they were immediately replaced by three new sisters. The new wicked sisters continued the injustice bestowed upon Cinderiliana, and Cinderiliana grew angrier and angrier. She started revealing the injustices done to her online, more and more in a cry for help on her various sites, which her fan base was growing and growing. Cinderiliana did a lot of praying and meditating and exercising inner solitude in order to keep her sanity. She became very spiritual and in phenomenal athletic shape, which only amplified her beauty and radiance. As a result, she started to be requested to audition to star in reality shows and other projects. In fact, Cinderiliana even started to pitch her own reality show about her story. Although Cinderiliana's auditions went impeccably well, and she was perfect for just about each one, and her own reality show idea and pitch was incredibly marketable and a sure hit, Cinderiliana was getting nowhere. She began to grow concerns and a hunch the older gentleman was feeling more and more threatened by her increasing publicity. She worried that behind the scenes, this powerful, legendary man was perhaps using his power or influence to stifle her and keep her and her daughter poor and imprisoned in the basement forever. Out of desperation, a fairy godmother appeared and advised poor Cinderiliana. She advised her to write the older gentleman a letter. So she wrote him a letter of apology, though she wasn't sure what she had done wrong. She begged him for a truce, and perhaps even a meeting with him in person to plea for him to reconsider his actions and to release her from her captivity. so that she and her daughter, who was now a young lady, could live the rest of their lives the way they deserved. Ironically, although she lived in the basement, she still had to mail the letter because she was not allowed on the actual property, nor to speak or see him in person ever. Why should she? She was just an object to him, more of an object than any of her three wicked sisters, due to her illuminating beauty. Certainly, someone so beautiful and so close, who so closely reminds him of a life-size doll, would also have feelings. The feelings of a doll, which are basically none. Dolls have no feelings, especially not feelings of sadness, anger, betrayal, frustration, or abandonment. Barbie's always smiling and never feels pain, or so he figured. And that's where he went wrong, because this one did. What happened next is now in the hands of Mr. Hugh Hefner and God. The rest is to be continued, because I don't even know what happens